what is so special about these port workers, man?
Get it, 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 get it.
I'm gonna tell you what's so special about them. They are unionized workers. They're in an organization where they look out for each other. That's the sum of it. But my understanding of what a union is and my experience working with them, never for them or under them or anything like that, unions stick together and they look out for their own. Okay, so what that means is they have the backing to be able to say, screw it, I'm not coming into work for y'all today because the conditions are not right. That is the benefit of working for a union. Now I'm gonna tell you, as a truck driver, and a lot of other truck drivers can agree, okay, there is a love-hate relationship between truck drivers and union workers or port workers. And that's the only reason that love-hate relationship actually exists, is because you might have a lot of truck drivers that are in a rush to get things done or in a hurry to get from one place to the next. That is where the tension comes in between the port worker and the truck driver. Truck driver's like, hey man, can you hurry up to get this done? The port worker's like, hey man, you ain't gonna rush me. I'm doing my job. And you know what? I agree with him. Not one single time in my career as a truck driver, where either working for a company or as an owner operator, I have never rushed anybody to either load my truck or hurry up and get me unloaded. Okay? Because you don't show up to a place with that kind of attitude, number one. Number two, yeah, you're not their boss. You're not going to tell them what to do. So here is something else to think about. Union workers, everybody's wondering and questioning why they're striking and, oh, well, what's going on there? Or why are they're not getting paid enough for the conditions that they're working in, okay? And it could be as simple as the demand that's being put on them, given whether they're shorthanded or understaffed or whatever, there's not enough for the pay that they're receiving, okay? That's a very common theme around the times of like natural disasters, things like that, or election years, okay, which we're in an election year. We also just had a terrible hurricane come through, okay, or instances like when the Key Bridge gets struck in Baltimore and goes down and shuts down import-export operations via the harbor in Baltimore. That's what it is, okay? Terrible pay, or a lack of compromise, or an overload or influx of unnecessary work or duties. This is what I've been told and what I've heard from port workers and union workers or union operators that work at ports in relation or relative to the job that they do. All right, if the conditions aren't right, especially if the pay is not right, if it's wrong even or off just a little bit, no, they hold the authority to say, hey, you know what, I'm done. Or whoever their union rep is will say, hey, look, that's it. We'll stop operations until they can figure it out. And they can figure it out. And usually they do pretty well with getting it figured out so that the union workers and port operators can get back to doing what they need to do. The ports bring freight in from either out of the country or within the country. However, they come in and the port workers are the ones that distribute everything. They figure out whatever manifest, bill of lading. They figure out what's in what container, where that container is supposed to go. Yes, ports are the hub of any country. So yeah, if you stop that, if you mess up any form or portion of that operation, you're gonna screw up the operations for the rest of the country. That's like, for example, when the Key Bridge in Maryland got struck, went down, it shut that port down, okay? There was no freight coming in or out. I don't know if there's any going in or out at this point, but that was a booming time for truck drivers, because now instead of coming in through the Baltimore harbor, now these drivers have to come in through New Jersey or New York or Virginia, the port of Norfolk, the port of Virginia, things like that. And they're driving this freight all up and down the highway. So the truck drivers made out big time. Ports are a big deal. When it comes to supervising operations at a port, it's a very delicate process, okay? Almost 100% of the workers that have boots on the ground doing things in any vehicle that works at the port are unionized workers. For lack of better expression, there is no with them. Okay, you just don't do it. You don't do that. No matter what the relationship is between a truck driver and a port operator or a union worker working at a port, whatever disagreement they may have, it doesn't matter. That truck driver will always agree that you don't mess with that port. Okay, if you stop that operation, this guy right here can't operate. All right, now you stop the truck driver, you stop this operation, guess what? These guys are still going to operate. They might have a little bit of a backup at the port or whatever, but there are so many companies out there, okay? So many companies out there that are willing to move freight for whatever amount of money. It doesn't matter. All right, take a big name company. If the port is having a problem moving freight, guaranteed that company is going to move in with no issues at all. Okay, better perspective for you. The port, the truck drivers. How many ports are there, right? You got the Port of Baltimore, you got the one in New Jersey, you got the one up in New York, you got the one in Massachusetts. You've got a port for every state, essentially every state coming down the eastern seaboard and the western seaboard as well. All right, and you want to include South, fine. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, yes. Florida, you got it. That's still only you might as well say a couple handfuls of ports. There are literally several hundreds of companies. I want to say millions, but to say millions would be wrong. That would be a lie. There are millions of drivers for several hundred companies, yes. But you get a group, even if you take a small group of truckers and they say, well, we ain't driving no more, forget about it. Okay, that's a drop in a pond. That's all that is. But you mess with that port and you start screwing with those union workers, you ask for trouble. All right. Hey, hope that's enlightening and hope you gain something from that. I'm Che McFadden, Just Che LLC Truckers Hustle, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Get it, 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 hey, get it, get it, get it, hey, get it, get it, get it, get it, yeah, get it, get it. On my soul, ain't no letting